When Mu Shuling stepped out, she caught sight of Ling Ying descending the stairs, holding a bowl in her hands. Her eyes narrowed sharply. She strode over and gripped Ling Ying's shoulder tightly. "Did you drink this?" she demanded. "And no," Ling Ying stammered, trembling under her mother's glare. "I didn't. I gave it to Ling Ju. He barely ate anything, so I thought he should have some." Ling Ju drank it. Mu Shuling exhaled, relief washing over her. Her expression hardened again. "Don't touch that soup again. Ever." Ling Ying looked heartbroken. "Mom, why do you always side with Ling Ju?" Mu Shuling froze. So, that's what the children thought? That she favored Ling Ju? Good. Let them believe that. If Ling Jinxing suspected her, there would be others defending her. After all, it was obvious she treated Ling Ju differently. Even if, deep down, she wished Ling Ju would die. "Mom, we're your real children." Ling Ying cried out, setting the bowl down with a loud clatter before storming back upstairs, tears in her eyes. She was devastated. She had thought telling her mother what Ling Jinxing said to Ling Ju would make her hate that outsider too, maybe even drive her away. But instead, her mother gave Ling Ju flowers. And now, even better soup? Was she really their mother? Or Ling Ju's? Mu Shuling watched her daughter retreat and sighed heavily. Xiaoying was still young. She wouldn't understand for now. One day they all would. One day, they'd see her sacrifices. Upstairs, Ling Ying threw herself onto her bed and sobbed. "Why?" she cried. "Why does everyone like Ling Ju? What's so great about her?" After a while, her tears stopped. She sat upright, eyes cold as ice, staring out the window. "Ling Ju, I swear, I'll make you regret ever being born. You'll be **TCH, go to hell." Meanwhile, downstairs, Ling Ju was oblivious to the storm brewing above. Night had fallen. It was time to stir up some action. She still owed Gu Ziming a payout, and she hadn't earned the money yet. Changing into a casual outfit, Ling Ju leapt from the window and scaled the wall like a shadow in the dark. "Tang Yuan, let's go stone gambling today," she whispered. 50-50 split. You in?" Okay. Tang Yuan squealed. "I want the best jade." This time, Ling Ju decided not to disguise herself as a man. Sure, most people gambling were adults, but who said she couldn't play as a minor? She clutched the 10,000 yuan tightly in her palm, her heart pounding with excitement. "Tang Yuan, we can't draw too much attention. We'll start on Nanning Road before we hit the main casino." "Why not just go straight to the casino?" "Because the casino stones are the real deal. Rare ones. I scoped them out last time." "Oh, do they have red blood jade?" Tang Yuan's eyes sparkled. That was its favorite, tasty, rich, and rare. "Yep, someone cracked one open recently. Feng Yulin, I think. That name stuck with her. That man had luck like the gods themselves." "Tang Yuan," Ling Ju said suddenly, her voice more serious. "Do you remember the man we saw on the first day after we were reborn?" "I do. The one I couldn't read at all. Just thinking about him makes me mad. I think he's hiding a lot more than he lets on." Ling Ju rubbed her chin thoughtfully. Her instincts were screaming that the man was dangerous. Dangerous in a way that made the air feel heavier when he was near. She wasn't afraid of him, of course. But if he chose to become an obstacle, it would get messy. Worse still, she hadn't provoked him. Yet it felt like he had a personal vendetta against her and was actively tracking her down. "No doubt about it, Lord Ju," Tang Yuan chirped. "You think he's a demon or something? Because I. It paused mid-sentence, a lump suddenly stuck in its throat. "What was that for?" Ling Ju gave it a deadpan look. "Why didn't you say it was a celestial being descended from the heavens?" "Well, it's possible, but not likely." Tang Yuan backtracked immediately, watching her rub her palms together with sinister intent. Nowadays, telling the truth felt like walking on a tightrope with this woman. Maybe he's like us, reborn. Or maybe he has some kind of ancient artifact hidden on him. "No way," Tang Yuan replied quickly. "Lord Ju, don't you remember your 15th year? The fever, the near-death state." Her tone dropped slightly. "That was because I had to absorb your essence to survive. Totally an accident." "Huh, Ling Ju's expression darkened. She remembered how close to death she had felt. Her fingers curled around the little creature as she lifted it into her palm. So, I almost died because of you? Wait. Did I say that? I didn't mean that. Did I? Did I? Tang Yuan flailed desperately in her grip. You're not going to cut me open, right? Oh heavens, what even is in my stomach? Maybe tofu dregs? Peanut skins? Let me check. Ling Ju narrowed her eyes dangerously. You might be hoarding snacks in there. No, Lord Ju, mercy. I was young and thought you smelled delicious. I didn't know. I swear. Look, the great elder saved you, right? If it wasn't for Miaojiang's rituals, you'd be dead. That proves it. Nothing is stronger than me. Tang Yuan the Great. Ling Ju sighed and finally let go, more amused than angry. Tang Yuan's fast-talking had saved its fur again. Come on, we're here. They had taken a taxi this time, causing a small scene in the back seat along the way. When Ling Ju saw the familiar neon sign up ahead, she knew they'd arrived. After paying the fare, she stepped out and walked into the busy street, vibrant as ever. But her pace slowed. Last time she came here, she'd run into Feng Yuan. And then again at the casino. A strange unease crawled up her spine. Something tells me that man's not done haunting me. She didn't understand it. She'd save his life. And in return, he looked at her like she was his worst enemy. So much for gratitude. Lord Ju, did you know that handsome guy from last time is only 22? Tang Yuan chimed cheerfully. Oh, her voice was flat. And he's super tall. And you think he's handsome too, don't you? But honestly, Lord Ju, compared to you, all I know is that your fur is about to be gone. Ling Ju snapped, grabbing him by the scruff. That guy's annoying. Don't bring him up again, or I'll pluck you bald. Wah. Lord Ju. Tang Yuan burst into exaggerated tears. It's always hot water this, pluck that. I'm just stating facts. With a sigh, Ling Ju shoved the sobbing fur ball into her pocket and strode toward the entrance of the stone gambling den. Let the little troublemaker sulk in there. She had money to make and no time for melodrama.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Having just walked into the casino, Tang Yuan's face was full of excitement as it jumped out of her pocket. So fragrant. So many delicious things. It looked greedily at the stones that the people were opening, but it could not move those things. After all, they were other people's things. The last time he was here, he had been looking for something to eat because his lordship was unwell. Now, it was like a starving rat jumping into a rice bowl in the gambling den. None of these jades are of top quality. You won't be interested in the more ordinary ones either. Ling Ju glanced at the jades that those people had opened. Perhaps to those people, these jades were treasures, but to Tang Yuan, this little bit of sugar was not enough to quench its thirst. The more recovery abilities this guy had, the higher the grade of the jades it needed. Lord Ju, what can you buy with 10,000 yuan? Tang Yuan saw a sign posted at the entrance of every small shop in the gambling den. Huge sale. The price of each piece is at least 100,000 yuan. Huge sale. The price of each piece is at least 50,000 yuan. Ling Ju did not expect such a thing to happen. Just a few pieces of stones could be sold for at least 50,000 yuan. She thought that there would be a few thousand pieces of stones. Although there was a saying that an immortal cannot break a piece of jade in stone gambling, there were many people who flocked to it like a flock of ducks. One was rich while the other was poor. Everyone wanted to be the rich one. Moreover, many stone gambling dens would cheat. However, no one could cheat Ling Ju because it was still Tang Yuan. The two of them walked silently for a while. They saw many people buying stones at a high price, but they could not get anything out of them. Some people bought jade that was of the highest quality. Luo Jun, this stone of yours is not good enough. I heard that the one who opened the stone at your place lost it. You can't cheat an old friend like me, right? Brother Wong, I just went to exchange for a batch of jade today. It is indeed new. There will definitely be no problem. No. I only brought a little money today. If the bet goes bad this time, my wife will divorce me. Old Wong, my shop is really good. You can pick anything you want. I'll open it for you. Forget it, forget it. You've lost dozens of bets here. I'll leave first. But, old Luo, I believe that you can turn the tables with these raw stones. Come on, old Wong. Old Wong. He wanted to catch him, but he immediately ran away. Luo Jun looked disappointed. He sat in front of the shop and smoked. He almost couldn't pay the rent this month. Last time, more than a dozen people came to buy the stones. All of them went bankrupt, and not a single one of them struck lucky. Therefore, the reputation of his shop had plummeted. Most people did not come in to buy raw stones anymore. How much is this? Ling Ju pointed at a pile of stones beside her and asked. 50,000 apiece. Take your pick. Luo Jun glanced at Ling Ju. A child? Huh. Nowadays, even children came to play. Only children would come into his shop. Can you give me a cheaper price? I'll take this one. Ling Ju picked up a small piece and looked at him seriously. Luo Jun stopped smoking and looked at him for a moment. Then, he said, not knowing whether to laugh or cry, "Little boy, this one is at least 10,000. Do you have money? I'm 15 years old. Don't call me kid." Ling Ju threw the 10,000 yuan to him and said coldly, "I'll take this one." Luo Jun was stunned. Was this kid here to make fun of him? However, the raw stones he had were all worth 50,000 yuan. This 10,000 yuan? That can't be. Kid, I'm sorry. Uncle was just joking with you. This stone, it starts at 50,000 yuan. Are you taking this 10,000 yuan from home to play with? Take it back quickly. Your parents will be worried later. Luo Jun returned the bundle of 10,000 yuan to him, wanting to get his own raw stone back from him. However, Ling Ju held on tightly. It was not easy for her to use 10,000 yuan to buy raw stones. Letting go would be foolish. Kid, Luo Jun looked at how he was behaving. He was a little helpless. I got these raw stones from Myanmar. I spent all my savings. Yeah, why did I tell a child so much? All right, I'll give you this raw stone. Anyway, you won't be able to open anything with such a small piece. He looked at Ling Ju's determined look and suddenly did not know what to say. He stuffed the money into his arms and did not return his raw stone. He sat back on the bench and continued smoking. Lord Ju, I'm afraid this person is an idiot. There's a top-grade glass seed in this raw stone. Is he giving it to you just like that? I don't know. Ling Ju walked forward and handed the money in her hand to him. I'm here to buy raw stones, so I'm still a customer. Take the money and open this raw stone for me. Luo Jun raised his head in disbelief and looked at the money he handed over. He gulped. Little kid, I already said that I'm not a little kid anymore. Ling Ju frowned. How could this person be so stupid? With her height of 170 plus cm, she definitely did not look like a little kid anymore. Even though she looked young with her chubby face, with her action of tossing 10,000 yuan, she could not be called a little kid no matter what. Ahem, young man, do you really want this raw stone? He thought to himself. Could it be that some young master of some family had come out to play? Almost everyone who saw Ling Ju had the same thought. She had a noble air about her, and her entire person was cold and detached. She really looked like a young master of a family who had come out to experience the feelings of the people. Okay, Ling Ju nodded. Of course she wanted it. All right, I'll sell it to you for 10,000 yuan then. But if you lose the bet, he paused for a moment. He thought that the young man probably did not know the meaning of losing the bet. So he explained, that's what you mean by losing the bet. Don't cry if you lose. Okay, let's open the stone. Ling Ju's lips twitched as she nodded in agreement. Luo Jun took a deep puff of his cigarette when he heard that. He threw the cigarette butt aside and walked to the machine. My shop is probably going to collapse, so all the workers have left. Now, the boss is in charge of many kinds of work, haha. He opened the stone as if he was playing with it. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The sound of the machine working broke a small piece of the palm-sized stone and began to polish it carefully. Be careful. Don't cut it in the middle, reminded Ling Ju, who stood beside him. All right, the stone cutter would listen to the customer. After all, this was something that was sold to someone else. If it was cut into pieces, it would not be easy to absolve. Polish it along this side. Ling Ju pointed to the right side of the stone. Turn it to the minimum power. Take your time. This jade stone is relatively small and easy to destroy. Luo Jun raised his head to look at him, then smiled helplessly. Was this young man possessed? He still imagined that there was jade in there. Sigh. If he collapsed later, he would probably cry. Ling Ju, on the other hand, looked at him seriously, occasionally giving him some pointers. Yo, Luo Jun, you have a guest here. A group of people walked in at this moment. Luo Jun's hand trembled, and he almost cut the stone in half. Fortunately, he quickly turned off the machine. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and said to them with a bitter smile, "We haven't opened today. I'll send you the money next week." Isn't he cracking open the stone? 5 or 6 people walked in and kicked the stool beside him. The leader sat on the stool and crossed his legs. He sneered. It looks quite lively. Luo Jun smiled bitterly. This young man doesn't know anything. He just said that he wanted to buy raw stones, so I helped him crack open the stone. Oh, then it should be at least 50,000 yuan. Give us some interest first. This young man only has 10,000 yuan. I'll give you the 10,000 yuan to play with. Next week, I will definitely send the money to your house. 10,000 yuan? He stood up with a sneer. Are you breaking the rules of the industry? Don't you know that on Nanning Road, all raw stones, even if they're the size of a thumb, have to be at least 50,000 yuan? He kicked over his stool, and the underling next to him immediately went forward to light his cigarette. Hey Z, look, this is just a middle school student. He must be here to have some fun. And I know the unspoken rules of this raw stone. I'll treat this 10,000 yuan as a gift to you. Let go today. I'll send you all the money I get from selling stones. Luo Jun frowned. He did not understand. It was not yet time to pay back the debt. It was fine if these people came here to ask for the debt, but they still looked like they wanted to cause trouble. It's time for you to open the stone for me. I'm very busy. Ling Ju looked at the time. She had been delayed here for a long time. She still had a lot of stones to open. She still had to go to the casino. It would be too late later. Hazy sent someone forward to take Luo Jun's 10,000 yuan. He glanced at the raw stone behind him and said, "Brothers, go and pick one to play with. Boss Luo gave us the interest back then." Hazy, don't go too far. Luo Jun stood up and stopped them. If each of them picked one, how could he do business? He had a lot of raw stones. The bigger the stone, the more expensive it was. Some are even worth millions. How could he give it to them as interest? Boss Luo, it seems like you don't want to do business anymore. Hey Z sneered and sized up his shop. Our boss said that if you give this shop to him, you don't have to pay back your debt. He can also give you a sum of money. Impossible. Luo Jun roared angrily, his face flushed red. Brothers, pick whatever you want. Hey Z had made up his mind to cause trouble. He sneered, and a few people behind him rushed forward. Luo Jun stopped them, but they threw him to the side. The situation here was discovered by many people. They pointed and watched. This kind of thing had happened many times in this place, and they were used to it. However, it was quite interesting to watch the show. Get lost, kid. Hazy reached out his hand to grab Ling Ju. This kid was too much of a hindrance standing here. However, just as he reached out his hand, it was held tightly by someone. He looked up at the person who grabbed him. His small body and slender hands actually had so much strength. His beautiful eyes were filled with ruthlessness. Get lost. Ling Ju slapped him fiercely on the head. Bang! Blackie's body was thrown in front of the crowd. He held his chest and did not care about the blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. He glared at Ling Ju fiercely. Kid, do you know who our boss is? How dare you touch me? I never look at the owner when I hit a dog. The owner who can raise such a dog is not a good person either. Come and fight with me. The corner of Ling Ju's lips curled up into a faint smile. She stared at the people who stopped. Do you want to get lost, or do you want me to help you? You brat. How dare you be so arrogant as a middle school student? A few people rushed forward, rubbing their fists together. Their target this time was not the raw stone, nor Luo Jun, but Ling Ju. They wanted to teach this arrogant brat a lesson. Stop. He's still a child. He doesn't know anything. If you want the raw stones, pick them. Don't bully him. Luo Jun shouted. Seeing how fast a few of them were, he could not keep up. By the time he reacted and rushed forward, the few men had already been thrown to the ground by Ling Ju. They rolled around with Hey Z, but the youth was still standing steadily on the spot. It was not just the onlookers. Even Luo Jun was shocked. He swallowed his saliva and looked at Ling Ju with a face full of fear. This, young man, boss, can you open the stone for me quickly? I'm busy. Ling Ju frowned with displeasure. Luo Jun nodded nervously. He glanced at the few people who were lying on the ground and wailing. He walked to the machine and continued to open the stone for him. Kid, just you wait. Hazy glared at Ling Ju with fear and quickly left with his men. Wait for that, black dog. Ling Ju suddenly stopped him and said with curiosity, Your wife cheated on you yesterday, and you killed the error and threw him into the well. Do the police know about this? You. Hazy looked at Ling Ju in horror. That was impossible. That was what he did last night. No one knew about it in the middle of the night. How did he know about it? Also, your boss's wife is the precious daughter of the local tax bureau in the Northern District. Why does your boss still dare to keep more than 10 mistresses? You. Hazy was so terrified that he was about to pee his pants. Fortunately, the few people beside him held him, so he did not collapse. All right. Also, your wife almost died after being beaten by you. She was tied up at home for an entire day without a drop of water. I don't know if she's dead or not. Aren't you going to take a look? Killing someone is a death sentence. Ah, there's a ghost. This person is a ghost. He ran away in terror, shouting that Ling Ju was a ghost, while his underlings stared at Ling Ju in horror for a long time. Ling Ju gave them a big smile. Ah, there's a ghost. The few of them ran away. Ling Ju raised her eyebrows and chuckled. She squatted down and watched Luo Jun remove the stone. Hurry up and open it. Be careful not to damage my jade. Yes, yes, yes. Luo Jun was sweating profusely. He gathered his courage and looked at Ling Ju. Young man, how do you know about them? Luo Jun wondered if the young man knew his secret as well. I guessed. There were even more people watching now. Rock cutting was always an interesting thing. Now that they saw how powerful the young man was, they were even more interested in rock cutting this time. The god of misfortune has descended on this shop. Last time, I bought one stone for 130,000 yuan, but I didn't get anything. Me too. Last time, I bought raw stones for more than 0.00000 yuan. I almost died from anger when I opened a fake skin. I didn't mind losing 0.00000 yuan, but I bought an empty joy. Me too. I didn't open the last time either. Me too. That's why I don't open stones at his place anymore. I don't know if I can open it this time. Impossible. Look at the palm-sized stone in Luo Jun's hand. If it has jade, I'll eat sh*t. I'll eat it too. It's impossible. Luo Jun listened to the discussions around him and smiled bitterly. Could he really not open a jade stone here? Do you always listen to others when you do business? Do you do whatever they tell you to do? People say that you don't have any jade stones here, so you threw all the original stones in the corner and borrowed money to buy a bunch of new ones? Do you live in the eyes of others when you do business? Ling Ju squatted down and looked at him with a mocking expression. If it were not for the good impression that this person gave her, she would never have cared about him. Ow, how do you know? He looked at Ling Ju guiltily. Then he sighed and polished the stone in his hand carefully. I was helpless too. The last batch of jade was sold for dozens of pieces, but there was no jade. I got them all from Myanmar. So why isn't there any jade? Jade is also spiritual. Those people were just unlucky. Ling Ju said lightly, maybe you're unlucky. Lord Ju, you're poking into his heart. Tang Yuan sat on her shoulder and snickered. Little brother, I know too. Sigh, you don't understand our line of work. This kind of thing is really helpless. I can only do this. Now, I owe the loan shark 10 million. I can only pay it back if I sell all the jade here. So, sell all the jade to me. The corner of Ling Ju's lips curled up slightly as she pointed at the raw stone that he threw on the other side. The pile of things without jade had all been taken away. Tang Yuan said that at least 70% of the remaining pile had jade, and some of them were top quality. He swallowed his saliva and looked at him in disbelief. Even if he did not think that there was any hope for the jades, he would have to sell them for a sum of money. Well, little brother, those raw stones are very expensive. Even though I don't think there's any hope, but it can't be less than 5 million. After all, I took 10 million when I took the goods. Ling Ju was slightly taken aback. That pile was only 5 million? Lord Jew, this person might be an idiot. Hurry up and throw the money at him. Throw it at him. We'll be rich. Ha ha ha. There's so much delicious food in there. Tang Yuan can already smell it. Tang Yuan was rolling around happily. He had not expected to get so much. Lord Jew, if we buy that pile, we don't have to go to the casino anymore. We could just open it here. It'll piss those people off. Ha ha ha. Ling Ju looked at Luo Jun again. He was seriously polishing the stones in his hand, and the machine was still making noises. Want that pile of stones? I'll give you 10 million. It's green. Ling Ju had just finished speaking when he was grinding some stones at the edge. He saw a touch of dark green inside, and it was a beautiful sight. He screamed, tears welling up in his eyes. He shouted outside, "The god of misfortune has left my place. It's green. It's a top-grade glass seed." The onlookers came forward one after another and began to discuss. It's green. It's really green, and it's a glass seed. Oh my god, it's beautiful. It can't be just a fake skin, right? Someone said sourly. I don't know. Keep going. Boss, I want the pile of raw stones over there, okay? Ling Ju mentioned the raw stones he despised over there to him again. It was the same price for him to sell them to others, so he may as well give them to her. Okay, brother, I'll sell them to you. You're really my lucky star. Luo Jun looked at him excitedly and was extremely happy. He continued to focus on polishing the stones in his hands. The corners of Ling Ju's lips curled up. Lucky star? At that moment, there were two tall men standing in the crowd. They looked at the young man squatting on the ground. One of them had a dark expression on his face. Do you know that kid? I don't know him. Feng Yulin's face was cold. He took out his phone and sent a text message. Then, he looked seriously at the stone cutting. Wei Jingyan did not believe him. He stared at Ling Ju's back for a moment. How did Feng Yulin know such a high school student? Judging from his expression, the two of them seemed to have a grudge against each other. Glass seed. Glass seed. Luo Jun finally finished polishing the stone. He carefully wiped away the traces on the side with a sandcloth. Looking at the transparent glass seed jade, he muttered, "What a miracle. Boss Luo, is this jade for sale?" At that moment, someone pushed through the crowd and walked in, looking at Luo Jun with a smile. So it's the manager of Hygiene Jewelry, Director Xing. I didn't expect you to come here. Luo Jun walked over respectfully. Ling Ju looked at the manager indifferently. He must be a powerful person, even though she had never heard of him. He's actually the manager of the largest jewelry shop in Yunhai Province. Why is he here? Aren't the jade stones in their shop all provided by the company's gambling den? Who knows? Maybe he has his eyes on your jade stone. Hygiene Jewelry doesn't lack glass seeds, right? The group of people looked at the middle of the crowd and overlooked one thing. That jade stone was Ling Ju's. Other than the two people standing outside the crowd, the others were shocked. Why are you helping that kid? Wei Jingyan did not understand. He rubbed his chin and looked like he was deep in thought. Could it be that you have taken a liking to this young man? Hygiene Jewelry was Feng Yulin's. It was under Company L. He had just sent a message to the manager to come and see the jade. Wei Jingyan really did not understand. He said that he did not know this kid, but he was helping him at this time. TSK, TSK. I think that you will have an extra black eye later, a permanent black eye. Feng Yulin turned his head and glanced at him with a dark gaze. He had to admit that he was similar to Ling Ju when it came to threats. Ling Ju only talked about it when she threatened Tang Yuan, but she never did it. When she really made her move, she had already lost. Wei Jingyan gulped. He was standing at a place that he could not reach with one hand. He had guessed correctly. It was better for him to walk further away. Luo Jun, who was in the middle of a dilemma, hesitated for a moment. He handed the clean jade to Ling Ju and said, "This jade belongs to this young man. It's up to this young man to decide whether to sell it or not." Director Xing then looked at Ling Ju with a smile. "Young man, name your price. Our company needs this glass seed recently. I wonder if you can help us. If you have the money, everything can be discussed." Ling Ju smiled faintly. She raised the jade handle in her hand and played with it while she held on to Tang Yuan tightly. "Lord Ju, this is great. I want to eat it. I want to eat it. Wah, wah, wah. I want to eat it." It kept struggling and was about to jump toward her other hand, but she held it down tightly. This is for sale. This person seems to like it. I can sell it for a good price. No, no. This taste is so pure. I want to eat it. Please, I beg you, Lord Ju. Tang Yuan raised its head and looked at her with tears in its eyes. Its face was full of resentment and grievance. Ling Ju rubbed the space between her eyebrows. She had no choice but to take back her hand and throw the jade into her pocket. Eat it. What else could she do if she did not keep her little princess? Lord Ju, I love you so much. Tang Yuan crawled into her pocket and enjoyed it. Little brother, what does this mean? What happened to selling it as long as you paid? What's the matter with putting it in your pocket? June, Boss Luo, you agreed to sell all of these to me just now. Please open them for me. Luo Jun was stunned. He remembered that the glass seed that she opened was worth at least a few million, so he nodded without thinking. Go and pick one. I'll open the stone that you picked. Wait a moment. Ling Ju walked over and rummaged through the stone pile for a while. Lord Ju, I'll have this one, and this one as well. Tang Yuan guided her while enjoying itself. Ling Ju took 2 stones that were out of stock and 1 that was out of stock. She brought 3 stones over and said, Here you go. Boss Luo, how about this? Since we are in urgent need of jade stones, you only have 1 machine for extracting jade stones. I'll call a few people over to help you. It's getting late. Let's finish this young man early so that he can go home and sleep. After all, it's the time for him to grow up. As he spoke, he made a call. In less than 5 minutes, a group of people came over with a machine that was used to cut out jade. His action stunned many people. This hygiene jewelry was a big business. How much of a lack of jade did they have to make such a move? On the other side, Wei Jingyin could not help but walk closer to Feng Yulin and stare at him with his mouth agape. Big brother, have you hygiene gone mad from poverty? No. Is it because you have money that you can't use anymore? You can give it to me. It's not good to spoil it like this. Moreover, that kid is still underage. You can't just... Feng Yulin threw a punch and glanced at him indifferently. I'll give you a 7-day cure. Wei Jingyin covered his aching eyes and looked at him angrily. I still have to attend your old man's birthday on Sunday. You actually gave me such an eye. What'll I do if you make me look so elegant? How many young girls in Yinhai province have their hearts broken? It's all because of you. Do you want to be more tidy? I'll give you another reward. Feng Yulin turned his head to look at him. His indifference carried a hint of threat. Wei Jingyin quickly moved away and looked at him accusingly. This violent man? Meanwhile, Ling Ju looked at Director Xing with interest. He had his men open all the jade stones that he had brought over. She was happy and relaxed as well. She continued to choose the raw stones for them to open. Yes, she was still growing. She had to go to bed early. Lord Ju, I'm done. Burp. Awesome. Tang Yuan jumped onto her shoulder happily. It was just short of singing happy days. Lord Ju, that handsome young man is here too. Lord Ju, don't turn around. He's looking at you. Ling Ju's body froze. There were too many people, and she had neglected too much due to her excitement. She did not expect to meet Feng Yulin. He was poisonous, wasn't he? Every time she went out to stir up trouble, he would be there. Lord Ju, why is this handsome young man looking at you so strangely? What kind of look? Although she was curious, Ling Ju continued to pick up the stone and pretended that Feng Yulin was not there. It looks like you can't get it even if you love it. Tang Yuan. Ahem. All right, he wants to kill you. That's the normal look. Ling Ju did not care about the look anymore. She picked up all the stones and sorted them well. Many experts knew that they were useless, so there was no need to open them. Green. I have some over here, too. I have some over here, too. Oh my God, green at the same time. It's a miracle. Lord Ju, are we going to make a fortune? Tang Yuan looked at Ling Ju with excitement. It rubbed its fists and looked at the group of people who were cutting the stone. Can you give Tang Yuan more delicious food? Ling Ju rubbed its head lovingly. Then, she looked at the group of people calmly. Before she could say anything, Tang Yuan's voice sounded again. Lord Ju, the handsome young man is peeping at you again. Ling Ju's body stiffened. She felt an intriguing gaze lingering on her. It doesn't matter. With my appearance, It's quite normal for strange uncles to have their eyes on me. Lord Jew, is he a pedophile? You're so young. Why does he always look like he can't love you every time he sees you? Cough, cough, no, he wants to kill you. What? Tang Yuan patted its chest, almost pulling out its tiger whiskers. Ling Ju trampled on its face, pulling and pulling as she said with a faint smile, "You will understand when you grow up. This feeling is very strange. Take Tang Yuan, for example. If you see another Emperor Gu that is more powerful than you, more beautiful than you, and more powerful than you in all aspects, you will definitely show that look in your eyes. It doesn't exist." Tang Yuan jumped out of her palm with a face full of anger. "There will never be an Emperor Gu that is smarter than me in this world." Oh, she curled her lips into a smirk and stopped talking. To the others, he was so calm that it was scary. It was as if he knew that there was something inside the stone. From the beginning until now, his gaze had been indifferent. "Hello, little brother, are you selling all these jades?" Director Xing rubbed his palms, trying to suppress his excitement. He looked at the jades excitedly. After living for so many years, this was the first time he had seen so many jades. Ling Ju came back to her senses after hearing his words. She seemed to be busy. "Yes, I will pick a few pieces and sell the rest." Okay. Ling Ju squatted down. The jade that they had cut out were carefully placed in the box. She reached out and touched it. "Lord Ju, I want this. I want this too. This one is not bad. Wow, this one is even better." Ling Ju took more than 10 jade stones from her hands and placed them all in the basket. Then, she pointed at the rest. "I'll sell these and the rest to you." Director Xing looked at the remaining jades. Although they were not as good as the ones he had chosen, they were still passable. The main thing was that he did not know what else he could get next. He was looking forward to it. The boss had asked him to come over because he had predicted that there would be so many jade stones here. At that moment, he was completely in awe of his boss. Tang Yuan was already lying in the basket happily. It was so blissful and fragrant. At that moment, Feng Yulin was staring intently at Ling Ju's back. From Wei Jingyan's point of view, this man was already possessed. Feng Yulin's lips curled into a cold smile. His eagle-like eyes flashed with a certain light. This time, he had given this kid a sweet date. This could be considered as him repaying him for saving his life. However, if he wanted to leave just like that, Ling Ju felt a chill run down her spine. Without even thinking, she knew that someone was up to something bad. Could it be that they had decided to chop her up on her way home? Green again. This is amazing. Didn't they say that the raw stones in this shop can't produce jade? How is that possible? Someone must have been unlucky enough to pick up all the jade that doesn't exist. This kid is really lucky. It's so infuriating to compare people. Ling Ju smiled faintly as she listened to the discussion. She only revealed a relaxed smile when the stones were all removed. It was finally over. It was almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and she felt bored. However, everyone was looking at them in high spirits, paying close attention to the process of removing the stones. Director Xing was dumbfounded. There were about 200 raw stones in the pile, and more than 130 jade stones had been removed. He thought that he might be dreaming. How could such a heaven-defying thing happen? Although the top-grade jade stones had all been taken away by this little brother, the ones he still had were all pretty good. It seemed that the quality of this batch of raw stones was really very good. "Boss Luo, your family's jade stones are really amazing." Director Xing asked his people to count the jade stones as he chatted with Luo Jun. However, Luo Jun had been sitting next to the machine with his head lowered, and his shoulders were slightly trembling. "Boss Luo, what's wrong?" Everyone looked at Luo Jun with some confusion. "What happened?" "Everyone!" Luo Jun raised his head. His eyes were slightly red as he looked at the people around him. His voice was slightly hoarse. "This shop of mine, Luo Jun, is not blessed by the god of misfortune. Everything that has happened today proves that I, Luo Jun, have always been doing real business in raw stones. I hope that everyone will do better and earn money together. I hope that the future of our Nanning Road will be better. I will never cheat. Everyone has seen it in the past few days. My business has plummeted. This is not because there is a problem with my raw stones, but because gambling with stones is a gamble. Winning is your ability. Losing has nothing to do with the shop. Therefore, I hope that everyone will not use winning or losing once or twice to define the future of a shop. Thank you, everyone. Ling Ju's eyes sparkled, and the corners of her lips curled up. This kid accidentally saved this shop. Wei Jingyan rubbed his chin and sized up Ling Ju. However, he's still too young. You're too old. Ugh. As soon as he finished speaking, a black shadow as fast as lightning charged at him. Before he could react, he felt pain in his eyes. Feng Yulin, you violent man. He glared at him fiercely, but he did not dare to do anything. He stepped back step by step, grimacing in pain as he said, "Just you wait." His magnificent appearance. It was ruined by this man. Oh, his little girls. So many little fangirls, his heart was about to break. He had to go home and roll a few eggs to relieve himself. Feng Yulin watched as Wei Jingyan left. He touched his fist and turned to look at the youth in the area with a sneer. Brat, no matter who you are, you will die this time. Tang Yuan lay in the basket with a satisfied look on its face. What a great meal. Little brother, these jade stones are all accounted for. Take a look at the list. He handed the paper in his hand to Ling Ju. Ling Ju glanced at it briefly and nodded lightly. Name your price. Director Xing glanced at Feng Yulin outside the ring and extended 5 fingers. Look, there are a few pieces of top-quality jade stones here. Let's make it a round number. 50 million, how about it? Okay. Ling Ju knew that this was a very high price. He immediately wrote a check for him, but Ling Ju did not accept it. She took a pen and paper. Transfer 40 million to this card. The remaining 10 million is his. She pointed at the excited Luo Jun. Luo Jun was stunned when he heard her mention him. Mine. Yes, this is the payment. I promised you 10 million. You don't have money? Luo Jun was in disbelief. Yes, I only have 10,000. Isn't this buying raw stones? Ling Ju chuckled and handed the check to him. You don't have the money to pay me back. Did you know that there are jade stones in here? Luo Jun could not describe his feelings anymore. Was this child really playing around? You don't have the money to pay me back. Did you know that there would be jade inside? Luo Jun could not describe his feelings anymore. Why would someone dare to gamble like that? And this person was a young boy. Luo Jun could not help but admire him when he remembered how calm he was. This kid had a bright future ahead of him. Ling Ju raised her brows slightly. She looked at the pile of stones and chuckled. You might not believe me, but I really guessed it. Guessed it? What else could he say? Luo Jun was stunned. Ling Ju confirmed that the money from Director Xing had arrived. Then she picked up the small basket and was about to leave. Give this to me. Ling Ju was talking about the small basket. Tang Yuan was about to eat, and the jade would be thrown into the trash bin soon. Okay. Luo Jun nodded stiffly and watched him disappear into the crowd with the basket. Boss Luo, I want 2 raw stones. Boss Luo, I want all 3 of them. Open them for me now. Boss Luo, your jade stones are too good. Haha. Boss Luo, open these stones for me quickly. I'm just trying my luck. All of a sudden, all the onlookers rushed into his shop and picked out all the hundreds of jade stones that he had just brought in. Luo Jun thought that he was really dreaming. Ling Ju walked to the door and picked up the jade stones into the basket. In the 20 minutes, Tang Yuan had turned all the jade stones into waste stones. The stones were no different from the white marble by the roadside. Ling Ju threw the stones into the river where she passed by it. Tang Yuan sat on her shoulder and burped happily. Lord Ju, I've recovered 20%. That's great. After I digest it, I'll be able to grow claws tomorrow. It thought happily. Once it had claws, it could play with Xiao Bai. Ling Ju raised her eyebrows slightly. I remember you said you could only have claws after 30%. No, that's under normal circumstances. The current situation is not normal. The quality of the jade is not bad, much better than normal. That's why the power is pure. Can you understand what I'm saying? What do you think? Lord Ju, someone is coming. Tang Yuan suddenly said nervously. Ling Ju stood on the small path. There are not many people during these hours. She was instantly exposed to the enemy's sight. It's him, Ling Ju frowned. Her face darkened as she looked at the man who walked out from the dark. It's the handsome young man. Tang Yuan squatted on her shoulder and looked at the man curiously. Lord Ju, he wants to kill you. I saw it. Ling Ju looked at the silencer pointing at her. He always used a gun. Could there be some new tricks? Bang! After a slight sound, a bullet flew towards her. Ling Ju's figure flashed like a ghost and disappeared from his sight. Feng Yulin's eyes dimmed. This kid was so fast. Ling Ju smiled faintly. The first time she saw him, she did not even use her full strength because her head had been hit by the original owner. Now, this man still wanted to provoke her. He was really courting death. Hee hee, it's fun. Tang Yuan suddenly laughed when he saw Ling Ju's figure getting closer and closer to the handsome young man. Ling Ju heard its laughter and really wanted to throw it out like a bomb. Ling Ju passed through the bushes next to her, and the figure that was charging forward instantly stopped beside him. Her long legs kicked at his hand viciously, sending the gun in his hand flying. It was too fast for him to react. By the time he reacted, Ling Ju's hand was already around his neck. You're too slow. Is that so? Even though her hand was on his neck, his expression was still calm, and there was no hint of nervousness in his tone. Lord Ju, be careful. Before Tang Yuan could say anything, Ling Ju noticed that the man had a dagger in his hand. How did he expect her to approach him? Before she could pull her hand back, Ling Ju was pressed against his chest by the dagger. Are you faster or am I faster? A mocking smile flashed across his lips. Ling Ju's deep pupils sparkled faintly. Did this man look down on her? The lights here were very dim. If anyone saw them, they would despise the two men for being so close to each other. The two of them looked as if they were hugging each other. I'll let you die in such a happy moment. Consider it your reward for helping me. Feng Yulin's subordinate suddenly exerted force and stabbed at her chest. In his eyes, Ling Ju was already a dead person. She knew his secrets and even flirted with him. If it were anyone else, they would not know how tall the grass on the grave was. However, he tolerated this kid for a month. Ling Ju felt a slight pain in her chest, and her hand tightened around his neck. Those two over there, what are they doing? Suddenly, a group of people appeared on the main road behind the two of them. They were familiar faces. Feng Yulin's eyes darkened when he heard the voice. He said to Ling Ju in a dark tone, Kid, you can live for a few more minutes. You know what to say and what not to say, right? He put away the dagger in his hand after he said that. The group of people who dropped the dagger in the bushes would not notice it. Don't worry, I will definitely live longer than you. Ling Ju let go of him as well. She lowered her head to look at her chest. There was a slight cut on it, and a small hole was made in her white shirt. Red blood could be seen oozing out from the skin underneath. Feng Yulin took off his suit jacket and wrapped Ling Ju up so that no one outside could see her wound. Ling Ju had wanted to punch this man to get revenge, but seeing the bruise on his neck made her feel a lot better. So it's President Feng. The person standing on the main road walked over. It was Yu Chan and his assistants. Lord Ju, this is bad. The policeman is here too. Tang Yuan, go take care of him now. Tang Yuan quickly ran out and headed towards the policeman. The lights were dim. Ling Ju had to hide behind Feng Yulin before Tang Yuan was done with him. The policeman was the one who saw Ling Ju running on Feng Yulin's body the last time. He must have remembered Ling Ju's appearance. After all, he was so handsome that it was easy to tell. President Feng is still wandering the streets at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. What is he doing? Yu Chan glanced at the person behind him. He could only see a small figure. A long light flashed in his eyes as he teased. Is this your girlfriend? Feng Yulin hid Ling Ju's body behind him, as if he was protecting his girlfriend. Captain Yu, you're really responsible. Aren't you patrolling the streets in the middle of the night? Haha, President Feng, no matter what, we work for the government. We've met so many times, so we're familiar with each other. Which family is your girlfriend from? Why don't you introduce her? Are you looking down on me? He's a little timid. She's already very courageous to be with President Feng. How could she be a coward? Yu Chan walked over with a faint smile. He swept his gaze across the ground, but found nothing. This made him frown slightly. Could it be that this Feng Yulin was really taking a walk with his girlfriend in the middle of the night? President Feng, let me see what will happen to your girlfriend. Is there a secret behind her hiding like this? While Feng Yulin was caught off guard, he suddenly dragged Ling Ju in front of him. It's you. It's you. Two voices spoke at the same time. The one in front was Yu Chan's voice, and the one behind was the policeman. Lord Ju, it's done. When he said it was you, Tang Yuan finally erased his memory. It jumped back on her shoulder and said fawningly, Lord Ju, aren't I great? Ling Ju was no longer in the mood to reply to Tang Yuan. Instead, she looked at Yu Chan and coldly flung his hand away. Feng Yuan saw that Yu Chan knew Ling Ju. He suddenly pulled Ling Ju into his arms and said in a voice that the two of them heard, You actually know him. So what if I know him? Ling Ju's voice was deep. She hated both of them. Feng Yuan's eyes flashed. He looked down at Feng Yuan. His small face was indeed very handsome. At that moment, Feng Yuan was only wearing shirt. The burning body temperature lingered around her. Ling Ju suddenly remembered that night when she was riding on his body and touching his chest. The feeling was not bad. Cough, cough. Yu Chan was stunned by their actions. It took him a long time to find his voice again. He asked his subordinate, Do you know him? Li Chong scratched his head. Who was that? Why did he not remember anything when he could remember it just now? What's going on? Yu Chan's voice turned cold. He could not remember anything, so he said awkwardly, I think I've got it wrong. Yu Chan looked at Ling Ju coldly and then glanced at Feng Yuan. He said in a strange voice, I didn't expect President Feng to be with Xiao Ju. Xiao Ju. He called her so intimately. The corner of Ling Ju's mouth twitched. Was she very close to him? Hee. Feng Yuan's deep eyes swept across Ling Ju's face and said calmly, So what if I am? Doesn't President Feng know Xiao Ju's identity? Feng Yuan did not say a word. He had investigated this kid, but he could not find any trace of him after that night. It was as if this person had never existed in this world. He could not find anything at all. Therefore, he did not know his identity either. Now that Yu Chan mentioned it, he was actually curious about who this kid was. Xiao Ju, come to Big Brother. I'm very curious. What are you and President Feng doing here in the middle of the night? Yu Chan revealed a smirk. He did not know how Ling Jinxing would react if he knew that Ling Ju and Feng Yuan had a relationship. Ling Ju raised her head and looked at Yu Chan curiously. Who are you? Feng Yuan smiled when she said that, but Yu Chan was furious. Was this kid playing dumb? The people behind Yu Chan looked at their boss awkwardly. What was going on? President Feng's so-called girlfriend was actually his boyfriend. Well, they all knew that men in the upper class liked to raise catamites. Maybe this kid was one too. However, their boss also knew this kid, and they seemed to be very familiar with him. In an instant, many images appeared in everyone's minds. Two men fighting over a man. Their boss had openly snatched President Feng's boy toy. Wasn't that a little inappropriate? Yu Chan held back his anger and looked at Ling Ju with a chuckle. Last time, I had dinner with your father, Governor Ling. You might have forgotten. Oh, I remember now. Ling Ju nodded and looked at Yu Chan with a serious expression. Then can you save me? I was kidnapped by this bad man. Feng Yuan tightened his grip on his arm. This kid. No wonder he cannot find him. It turned out that he was Ling Jinxing's son. This was going to be difficult. If it was someone from an ordinary family, he might have easily solved it. However, Ling Jinxing, he was not afraid of his identity, but it was a little troublesome to deal with the funeral. Yu Chan looked at him suspiciously. After a moment of silence, he said, Xiao Ju, tell your brother first. Why are you with President Feng? Save me first. Ling Ju was still insistent. Yu Chan looked at his indifferent expression and his lips twitched. He really did not think that this kid was kidnapped. He suddenly thought of something and pushed Li Chong, who was beside him. Do you still remember the young man you saw last time? Yes. Li Chong scratched his head awkwardly. He had actually forgotten why the young man's face was like a mosaic in his mind. However, now that his boss asked, he did not dare to say that he had forgotten. He could only hold on. Yu Chan gave him a look, asking him to look at Ling Ju. Li Chong understood immediately. He sized up Ling Ju for a few seconds, and then realized that he did not remember this person. He shook his head at Yu Chan, then tried hard to recall the portrait in his mind. Yu Chan looked deeply at Ling Ju and chuckled. He looked up at Feng Yuan. President Feng, can you explain now? Explain what? Feng Yuan continued to play dumb. He was worried that his identity would be revealed by this kid. However, It didn't seem like it. Yuchan didn't know that he was Venom at all. The police officer was the one who puzzled him. He also knew that it was the police officer who checked this kid's identity card that night. Why couldn't he recognize him now? Moreover, he didn't seem to have any impression of him. But it shouldn't be. After all, he was a police officer. How could he forget a person's appearance in just a few days? Moreover, this kid's appearance was so easy to remember. Crazy president. Even if you like little boys, you can't just openly kidnap me, right? I'm just going out to the toilet. Why did you kidnap me here and ask me to help you gamble on some stones? Using the current name to help you advertise your jewelry store. No matter what, I'm still a minor. Is this really okay? Feng Yulin looked at the glib-tongued little thing in his arms and wanted to strangle him to death. What did he mean by he liked little boys? What did he mean by asking him to gamble on stones for him? This kid really deserved to die. Could it be that President Feng is setting up stone traps in the gambling den? Yuchan looked at him with a puzzled expression. Setting up stones referred to the fact that this shop prepared many raw stones that had a high probability of producing jade stones. Then, the shop would cooperate with the shop and produce the jade stones in public. The shop would then buy the jade stones at a higher price. The news that the shop had bought a lot of jade stones would spread, and the shop's reputation would also increase. Yes, he is such a person. Captain, you look at me. I'm just a kid who just graduated from junior high school. I don't know anything, and I was kidnapped by this man. As police officers, aren't you going to eliminate the evil for the people? Ling Ju looked at Yuchan with a serious expression. Although she still spoke in an indifferent tone, her words were convincing. Yuchan suddenly felt sorry for him. After all, he had realized that this kid did not have any status in the Ling family when they had dinner last time. And now, he was being used by Feng Yulin. He really did not expect Feng Yulin to be this kind of person. It was one thing if he liked little boys, but he actually used him to do such a wicked thing. Moreover, he knew that he was the son of the governor. Yuchan looked at Ling Ju's handsome little face with a conflicted expression. He thought that it must be very painful, so he looked at Feng Yulin with a gloomy tone. President Feng, give him to me. I have a good relationship with Governor Ling. Don't persecute such a young child in the future. As a colleague, I can forgive you this time and pretend that this never happened. But if there's a next time, we'll meet in front of the president. President Feng, I'm warning you. You're not allowed to persecute me or any other little boys in the future. Ling Ju snorted coldly with a righteous look on her face. President Feng is actually such a person. I didn't expect that. Me too. I used to treat him as my idol. Yeah, he's the same age as me. I didn't expect him to be so despicable. The group of plainclothes police officers behind Yuchan also began to discuss. Seeing a delicate little boy like Ling Ju being captured by such a tall man, they imagined a scene in bed. Oh my God, this is insane. Ling Ju saw that everyone was siding with her, and the corners of her lips curled up. Feng Yulin still wanted to fight with her. Hee, her Lord Ju's flawless tongue was not a lie. Ling Ju, right? Just as she was feeling pleased with herself, she suddenly heard a mutter coming from above her head. I'll talk to the governor tomorrow. Since I like you, let's go get the marriage certificate. Wait a minute. Ling Ju was alarmed. What was the meaning of this? This man was already like this, yet he was not tripped by her. President Feng has decided to find a man to be his wife. Everyone who heard this looked at Feng Yulin with their mouths agape. Lord Ju, you might not understand. Tang Yuan understood. He said that he wants to marry you and get the marriage certificate from you. Tang Yuan suddenly said in a serious tone. It had been squatting on Feng Yulin's shoulder and studying his body. Why couldn't it read his mind? It had been thinking. Now that it heard his words, it began to explain to Ling Ju tactfully. Then, it jumped back to Ling Ju's shoulder. It could not see through that man, so it was better not to look at him. I don't agree. Ling Ju took a deep breath and suppressed her anger. She freed herself from his shackles and stood to the side. She secretly kicked the gun that revealed its handle into the bushes and looked at Feng Yulin with a serious face. President Feng, please have some self-respect. As a man in his 20s, you are an old man to me. I still have a lot of youth left. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Also, I don't know how many men you've had. Do you have any illnesses? Please let me go. I won't help you with immoral things anymore. After Ling Ju said that, she walked towards Yu Chan. I'll leave first. Don't tell my father about this. I don't want him to worry. Thank you. After she said that, she quickly left the crowd and disappeared into the street. Feng Yulin frowned. He couldn't understand this kid anymore. If he said that he hated him, then he would just hand him over to Yu Chan. Although Yu Chan might not believe him, he would be wary of him. Now, he was actually helping him. Yu Chan didn't notice his action of kicking the gun, but he did. President Feng, I didn't expect this. TSK, if the media finds out about this, I wonder what they will write about it. Yu Chan looked at him threateningly. Feng Yulin, this perfect man, had finally been caught by him. Feng Yulin's gaze swept past the hidden gun. His expression was unfathomable. He directly ignored Yu Chan and walked towards the main road. Feng Yulin. Yu Chan saw his arrogant look and stopped him. His tone was slightly cold as he spoke. If this matter is exposed, do you still want to compete for the presidency? I'm afraid that even the position of president of the Business and Political Association will be revoked. You also know that the president hates homosexuals very much. The law set by the previous president has to be changed this time. You still dare to commit crimes against the wind. Feng Yulin heard this and stopped in his tracks. He turned around and looked at Yu Chan with contempt in his eyes. It's not your place to jump around in front of me. After he finished speaking, his figure disappeared in front of Yu Chan. Yu Chan clenched his fists tightly. Feng Yulin, just wait for me to have something on you. When it came to homosexuality, it couldn't be used against him. He knew, and Feng Yulin also knew, so he didn't take it seriously at all. Haha, boss, this Feng Yulin is really arrogant. If it wasn't for his backing, this presidential election wouldn't have been his turn. Li Chong looked indignantly at the place where Feng Yulin disappeared. Yu Chan loosened his clenched fists, and his voice was slightly self-deprecating. He just looks down on our guards. Right now, we really don't have any real power. Boss, as long as we capture the venom, we can get real power. Feng Yulin only has some ability and some money. If we had any power, he would definitely bow down to you. Haha. Yu Chan laughed sarcastically. You all know who is behind Feng Yulin. He is not just rich. Everyone fell silent. Indeed, Feng Yulin had the entire H group, the L group, and that terrifying background. Who could touch him? Let's go and ask the people from the stone gambling den if it's as Ling Ju said. Okay. The crowd walked towards the stone gambling den. Ling Ju took a taxi home and sat in the back seat with a relaxed expression. Tang Yuan was lying on her lap, hopping around, trying hard to grow claws. Lord Ju, what are you thinking about? Is it the handsome young man? Tang Yuan's big eyes were wide open as it looked at her curiously. Yes, when will he die? Yeah, Lord Ju, I think you don't want him to die. Tang Yuan looked at her with interest. Look, you can tell that Yu Chan that he was the one who assassinated the president. If that happens, Yu Chan will definitely suspect him. Also, the gun on the ground and the clothes you're wearing, these are all evidence that can cause him to die. However, you didn't say anything. Therefore, Tang Yuan thinks that you definitely don't want a handsome young man to die. Ling Ju caught it and held it in her hands. She pondered for a moment and said, yes. She did not want Feng Yulin to die. Why? She thought that the man was actually quite interesting. Although it was annoying, it was also because of this that she found it interesting. The man who was full of secrets, the man who had a personality similar to hers, would always seek revenge for his flaws. She remembered the look in his eyes the first time they met. He was like the grim reaper who had crawled out of hell. She thought that he was just an ordinary assassin. She did not expect him to have such a mysterious identity. Feng Yulin was really interesting. Lord Ju, you won't wait for him to marry you, right? Why don't you wear a little floral dress to seduce him? In the future, when the two of you meet, you will be in love with each other. It won't be a fight anymore, huh? After hearing Tang Yuan's words, Ling Ju's eyes dimmed. She did not say anything, but just listened to it. Lord Ju, don't tell me you really have a crush on that handsome young man. Actually, he's not bad. He's not really an old man. Look, you're 15, he's 22. He's only 7 years older than you. Besides, he's a very stable backer. He's much more powerful than Ling Jinxing. Legend has it that it's easier to enjoy the shade by leaning against a big tree. We're here. The taxi driver's voice came from a front. After Ling Ju paid the bill, she walked back to the neighborhood and walked towards the window of her room. Tang Yuan was still there, so she automatically ignored it. Lord Ju, when are you going to wear women's clothes? Or a floral dress, or a big red dress, or a wedding dress? They all look pretty good, huh? When it finished speaking, Ling Ju had already climbed over the fence and stepped on the windowsill on the first floor. She used the momentum to climb up the window. She jumped down from the windowsill and landed steadily in the room. Lord Ju, why aren't you talking to me? Ling Ju grabbed it and walked in the bathroom. A wicked smile flashed across her lips. Because I think you should take a shower. I'll have a good chat with you after you're done. Tang Yuan's stomach hurts. Tang Yuan looked at her smile and suddenly shivered. It quickly went to the bathroom. A hot shower will cure all diseases. It really hurts. It hurts so much. My head hurts too. Woo! A little more hot water will definitely make it feel great. Ling Ju smiled wickedly. She turned on the hot water tap and pushed it down. Help! The next day, Ling Ju was alone again when she had breakfast. She heard that Mu Shuling had brought a group of people to stay at her in-laws' house. She did not know if it was because of her hands, but she was the only one at home for the past 3 days. She was in a daze after the meal. She planned to go out and buy herself a phone. She was really not used to not having one. She passed by a mobile phone store and walked straight in. Hello, what type of mobile phone do you want? Do you have a specific brand in mind? A sales assistant walked over and looked at him warmly. No, let me see. Ling Ju glanced around the store and saw the biggest poster on the wall. Lizi Ba, it's new today. The price is 9,999. Do you like this? This is the latest product in our store. There are only a few pieces. This brand is foreign, so the quality is better. Is it not good to make it in China? Ling Ju smiled coldly when she heard her words. The salesperson smiled awkwardly and realized that she had made a mistake. I'm sorry. What I meant was that the quality is worth the price. I want this. Ling Ju looked at it for a while and pointed to an old man's phone beside her. The salesperson was stunned for a moment. She quickly took out the phone and handed it to him. She asked casually, Are you buying this for the elderly in your family? I'm using it myself. How much is it? Ling Ju looked at it and thought that it was not bad. She looked at the standby time. It would be fine if she did not need to charge it for a week. Very good. This is 80 yuan. She looked at him with a stiff expression. Why would such a pretty boy use such a phone? Ling Ju bought a phone card, paid for it, and left the house. The first thing she did after buying the phone was to call Gu Ziming. She wondered if that guy had found a place yet. She could not wait to open a casino and have fun in it. Otherwise, life would be so lonely. When Gu Ziming received Ling Ju's call, he was discussing something with someone. In order to make it easier for Ling Ju to contact him, he had already bought a phone. Hello. Where is it? Lord Ju, it's you. I'm looking for an apartment right now. I have my eyes on one. It's a little expensive, but the location is definitely the best. Tell me. Ling Ju found her own cafe and sat down. She ordered a mocha and a kumquat lemon. The waitress looked at him in surprise. Would he drink 2 cups alone? Ling Ju ignored her gaze. She leaned against the sofa and watched the people coming and going downstairs. It's like this. I don't know if you've heard of the Sea of Clouds Center. I've heard of it. Ling Ju knew about this place. She heard that it would develop into the most prosperous square in Yunhai province. It's here. It's only 1 kilometer away from the main center, so it won't be too noisy. Beside it is Yunhai Park. The conditions are similar to what you told me. Isn't the land over there contracted? Ling Ju picked up the coffee and took a sip. The center of Cloud Sea was surrounded by luxurious villas and residential areas. Everything over there was for the rich to play with. If she could open a small casino over there, it wouldn't be a problem for her to earn a lot of money every day. Yes, but this 1 kilometer area hasn't been completely bought yet. The shops here are selling it at high price. It's more than 1,000,000 yuan more than you expected. Do you think it's necessary to buy it? It's even more spacious than you said. There's a 2-story basement, a parking lot on the first floor, and a warehouse on the second floor. How big is it? 2/3 of a high school football field. How much do you think it will cost? Ling Ju smiled as she watched Tang Yuan quietly climb into the kumquat lemon cup. After taking a hot shower yesterday, this guy complained to Xiao by about how heartless she was. It was already 3 o'clock in the morning, and it kept disturbing her sleep. Then, she stuffed it into the black diamond, so it ignored her the whole morning. What a stupid Tang Yuan. A cup of kumquat lemon was enough to appease it. It's about 18 million yuan. All the new procedures on the floor are complete. The property certificate has been verified. Everything is fine. Then buy it. The money given to you now is enough. Okay, then I'll buy it. Okay. Next, you go and get a business license. I want to open a supermarket first. No, Sir Ju. Opening a supermarket in this place will cost you everything. Gu Ziming on the other end was already shocked. Was this really not a joke? As my subordinate, you just need to listen to my instructions. Yes, Gu Ziming was helpless. Was this really a game at the young master's house? Was he being too serious? To think that he had been looking for a suitable place all this time. The supermarket's business license is much simpler. Call me when you're done. This number is mine. You can keep it. Okay. Ling Ju hung up the phone and rubbed her chin, deep in thought. Her plan was to open the supermarket first, and then smuggle everything she wanted in secretly. After all, as a casino, she could not be so open and above board. Gambling was not illegal in this country. As long as nothing went wrong, there was usually no problem. However, the business license was not easy to get. Someone had a monopoly on it. If she wanted to do it, she could not do it now. When she grew up, she could use her identity as the son of the governor to open it. However, in 3 months, there would be no problem. Ling Ju's lips curled into a meaningful smile. Tang Yuan. Ling Ju poked at the cup and looked at it teasingly. Do you want ice? Yes, yes, yes. It jumped around happily. It seemed to have forgotten that some unscrupulous owner locked it in the black diamond last night. Ling Ju called the waiter and poured a lot of ice into the kumquat lemon. Tang Yuan was soaking happily. Ling Ju continued to think about her plan. She felt that she needed to find someone to cooperate with. After all, if she opened a casino, she would definitely be hacked. Her current identity could not be exposed. She picked up the cup of Tang Yuan on the table and immediately walked towards the cashier. Pack it up. She handed the cup over and took out a bill. Oh, okay. The waitress took it and poured it into a cup. She was about to seal the cup, but Ling Ju rejected her. No need. She was stunned for a moment. She looked at Ling Ju carefully, then passed the thing to him in a daze. Ling Ju walked out quickly with the cup in her hand. She walked quickly. Tang Yuan was swaying in the cup and seemed to be enjoying it. It snorted twice. Seeing that Lord Ju was trying to please it, Lord Tang Yuan was not angry anymore. Ling Ju walked home. From afar, she could see her nanny looking at the door. When she saw him coming back, she ran over immediately. Oh, my little ancestor, where have you been? The governor called me an hour ago and asked me to send you to the Mu family. Why are you only back now? I'm so worried. Go and change your clothes. I'll call a taxi to send you there immediately. A strange look flashed across Ling Ju's eyes. The Mu family had always treated her as a disgrace. Why would they let her go? Moreover, Ling Zhenxing was the one who asked her to go. Wasn't he eager to hide himself? How dare he bring her to see his father-in-law now? Haha, he was so desperate. Hurry up and change your clothes. You're too casual. The nanny looked at him anxiously, but she did not dare to touch him. She had realized this morning that the kid was not easy to deal with. She only touched him once, and the vicious look in his eyes almost scared her to death. He was indeed the child of the governor's family. Even his gaze was so terrifying. Let's go. Ling Ju refused to change her clothes. Ling Zhenxing must have been bragging when he asked her to go over, or he must have some other motive. It was not like she was ashamed of herself. A white shirt and a pair of white casual pants. It was so convenient. Don't make things difficult for me. I'm just here to work for someone else. The nanny really wanted to grab him and change his clothes when she heard what he said. However, she did not dare to. Ling Ju ignored her and walked out of the house by herself. Little ancestor, wait for me. She quickly locked the door and ran to chase after him. This was the most troublesome child she had ever taken care of. He was especially willful. He disappeared after breakfast this morning. It was fine if he just came back now, but he did not respect her at all. Ling Ju stood by the roadside with her hands in her pockets, waiting for a car. The kumquat and lemon in her hand had already been thrown away. She looked at the tip of her shoe leisurely. The nanny was a woman in her 40s. She was still panting when she caught up with her. She had been looking around the roadside, eager to call a taxi. It was a call an hour ago. She had not set off yet. The owner would not fire her, would he? Stop the taxi. Seeing an empty car, she quickly ran over to stop it. Ling Ju walked up and sat in the back seat. She could only sit in the front. Sir, go to the south courtyard. Drive as fast as you can. She fastened her seatbelt and said to the driver. The driver leisurely lit a cigarette. He reached out the car window to shake off the ashes and said calmly, starting from 00 yuan. It's too far over there. If you agree, I'll start the car. 00 yuan? Usually it's only 50 yuan. The nanny shrieked. He was asking for a high price. Look at the weather. It's going to rain soon. I'll be alone when I get back. I have to charge more. You. The nanny was furious. She looked at the time and made up her mind. 00 yuan it is. Hurry up. Pay first. Who drives a taxi like you? She almost blew her top. She was busy and had a long journey. There was not enough time, but the taxi still gave her such a tone. It's more remote over there. You know. What's more remote? Over there. The nanny stopped talking and handed him 00 yuan. Hurry up and drive. All right. The driver took the money and started driving quickly. Ling Ju's eyes dimmed as she kept looking out of the window. They drove for about 40 minutes before they reached their destination. It was a military compound, and the cars parked there all had red license plates. That made sense. How could the chairman's house be in an ordinary neighborhood? The nanny got out of the car and took down the taxi's license plate resentfully. She had to file a complaint against this heartless driver. Ling Ju looked at the luxurious neighborhood. It was indeed very quiet, but it was not because it was remote, but because the people living nearby were all rich. That was why the driver wanted to blackmail them. Moreover, people here did not need to call a taxi to go out. That was why he said that he had to go back alone. Let's go. After memorizing the license plate number, the nanny walked into the residential area. Ling Ju followed behind her and observed the place. The place was built like a garden. There were actually rockery and flowing water inside. There were all kinds of small flowers on the path. The whole place looked like it was for the elderly. Building A10, the nanny muttered as she searched for the building. The deeper they went into the residential area, the more low-key and luxurious it became. It was filled with small mansions and villas. Ling Ju was not envious, but the nanny walking in front was full of envy. Found it. The two of them walked past the small lake and saw a signboard on the bridge. They saw the house after crossing the bridge. It was like a castle. The architectural style was similar to the president's White House, but it was just a little more low-key than that. The nanny walked to the door and tidied up her clothes. She looked at her appearance and appearance from the stainless steel door. She pressed the doorbell only after there were no problems. Lord Ju, this person is so funny. Ha ha. Tang Yuan laid on Ling Ju's shoulder and kept an eye on the nanny. The appearance of the people in the world today will be even funnier later. Ling Ju put her hands in her pockets and looked indifferent. An uncle who looked like a butler walked out of the house. He's here. He opened the door and looked at the two of them with a smile. Young Master Ling Ju is here, right? Yes, this is young Master Ling Ju. The nanny's smile was plastered on her face when she saw him. She was trying to please him. Coming quickly. Master and the others have been waiting for a long time. The butler nodded with a smile. He opened the door and welcomed the two of them in. There's a bit of traffic on this road, and the journey is a bit far. Otherwise, we wouldn't be late. The nanny began to explain nervously when she heard that. The housekeeper smiled without saying a word. He looked at the nanny with disdain. Ling Ju followed behind him calmly. A mocking smile flashed across her eyes when she saw the nanny bowing and scraping. Housekeeper, the master won't be angry, right? The nanny asked softly as they walked past the corridor. This one shouldn't be the one who should be angry, right? He smiled faintly and glanced at Ling Ju. What made him even angrier was not that he was late, but that he was an illegitimate child. Furthermore, he was invited by the master, and he was late. Ling Ju looked indifferent, as if she was a spoiled child. Lord Ju, living in this place must be tiring. Ling Ju raised her eyebrows slightly. Look, you have to walk for such a long time. Tang Yuan has calculated it for you. You've already walked 50 steps. If you were in Ling Jinxing's house, you would have walked from the living room to the bed, and you'd still be walking here. This is because you have money, but you have nowhere to go. Yeah, it would be better to make a kumquat lemon swimming pool. Wow, this is great. Tang Yuan jumped up and down. The thought of it made it feel great. It was sour, sweet, and cold. It was a perfect summer. Lord Zhu, Tang Yuan is betting on a cup of kumquat lemons with 10 pieces of ice. Ling Ying will definitely show you how big her grandfather's family is later. There's no need to bet. You'll definitely win. Ling Zhu did not even need to think about it to know that Ling Ying's tail might end up in the sky later. Hee hee, Lord Tang Yuan is really smart, Tang Yuan thought happily. It had another kumquat lemonade to drink. Why did it not know that those things were so delicious before? It could drink them while swimming. It was really wonderful. We're here. The housekeeper pushed open the door of the living room and walked in first. Ling Zhu frowned. What was the use of this winding corridor? Master, Ling Zhu is here. When the housekeeper pushed open the door and walked in, the people inside were talking and laughing happily. The whole family seemed to be having a good time. Hearing his words, everyone's laughter stopped. Their expressions were inexplicable. Xiaoju, come in quickly. Ling Jinxing waved at him with a smile on his face. Come, sit beside father. Master Zhu, is this Ling Jinxing stupid? If he says that, you'll definitely be hated by that old man. Tang Yuan's little face was twisted. No, he's just too smart. Ling Zhu's lips curled up as she walked over. Ling Jinxing wanted to tell these people that he cared about his son very much and that he would not allow them to look down on him. Oomph. Ling Ying snorted coldly and hugged her grandmother's arm. She really hated Ling Zhu to death. Ling Sheng and Ling Xiao had a cold expression on their faces. The moment Ling Zhu appeared, they felt as if the entire air had been polluted. Xiaoju, why are you here so late? I was worried for a while. Mu Shuling smiled and shifted her position, letting Ling Zhu get close to her. Her words reminded everyone that Ling Zhu was too arrogant. They had invited him 2 hours ago, but how long had it been until he arrived? Is there a traffic jam? Ling Jinxing did not think much of it. He asked Ling Zhu to sit between him and Mu Shuling. Lord Zhu, that old man has the intention to kill you. I can feel it. Ling Zhu did not look at the legendary chairman. Instead, she smiled lightly and walked over to sit between Ling Jinxing and Mu Shuling. Xiaoju, why are you dressed like this? Ling Jinxing was a little embarrassed when he saw Ling Zhu wearing a simple white outfit. I bought you so many good clothes. Why aren't you wearing them? This shirt and a pair of white pants were too shabby. This is pretty good, Ling Zhu thought to herself. Since they thought that they were arrogant, they might as well continue being arrogant. This was very interesting. Ahem. Ling Jinxing was a little embarrassed. He glanced at the nanny with a faint gaze. What a good-for-nothing. The nanny received his gaze, and her face turned pale. She quickly lowered her head. She really did her best. Why was this family so hard to please? The little one was so stubborn, and the old one was so fierce. If it weren't for the good salary, she would have thrown everything away and left. Ling Jinxing sorted out his words before introducing Ling Zhu. Xiaoju, this is Grandpa. Ling Zhu did not say a word. Did he want her to call this old man grandfather? No way. From the look in his eyes, one could tell that this man would definitely find trouble with him. He looked as if he wanted to kill Ling Zhu. TSK. This old man was really arrogant. However, he really doted on his daughter. Xiaoju, why do you not know the rules? Ling Zhu did not say a word. Ling Jinxing was a little angry and his face became stern. Everyone was waiting to watch Ling Zhu's show, especially the 3 children, Ling Ying. Grandfather was very fierce. Ling Zhu was dead for sure. He's not my grandfather, Ling Zhu said lightly. That old man did not want her to be his grandson, did he? Huh. Ling Jinxing's face flashed with anger when he heard that. He reached out his hand and grabbed Ling Zhu's wrist tightly. He said angrily, apologize. I'm not wrong. Ling Zhu snorted coldly and broke free from his shackles. He doesn't want me to be his grandson either, and he won't welcome me either. Why should I compromise? He was arrogant, right? How about this? You. Enough. Enough. Mu Shuling quickly grabbed Ling Jinxing's hand like a considerate little woman. Don't be angry. Dad won't say anything. Xiao Ju is just a child. Besides, you know about his illness. She stopped mid-sentence and hesitated. Ling Ju's eyes dimmed. This woman was really an expert. However, what's wrong with this child? Song Shi, who had been comforting Ling Ying, looked at the crowd with confusion. Grandma, he's going to die soon. He has lung cancer. Ling Ying snorted coldly. If it were not for the fact that he was going to die, she would not have let him stay at home. What a dirty bastard. Lung cancer is contagious. Song Shi looked at Ling Ju with disdain. She tugged at Mu Shuling's sleeve and moved to the side. Shuling, stay away from him. This disease spreads very quickly. You should isolate him. If he stays with you guys every day, you guys will get sick too. Really? It's really contagious. Ling Ying's face paled. She had talked to Ling Ju so many times. Perhaps his disease had spread to her. It's not contagious, Ling Jinxing quickly explained. Mom, this disease is not lung cancer. It's just an infection in the body. It'll heal after a while. Xiao Ju's results are very good. He got second place in the entire province, and he even got into MOC. That doesn't change the fact that he's an illegitimate child, the old man suddenly spoke. His cold voice pierced through everyone's hearts like ice. For a moment, everyone fell silent. Ling Jinxing clenched his fists, but he did not dare to say anything. The old man. He could not refute the old man's words. He was still the chairman of the board of directors. As long as he said the word, his position as the governor would be replaced immediately. Bang! Ling Ju kicked the teapot in front of her away. The exquisite purple teapot fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. She looked up at the old man sharply and said coldly, You said that I am an illegitimate child? Grandpa's favorite purple clay pot. Ling Ying cried out in surprise and looked at Ling Ju with hatred. That purple clay pot was bought by her mother for Grandpa, but it was kicked to the ground by Ling Ju and shattered. Ling Ju, you little B***TCH. Do you know how expensive this thing is? You can't even afford it if you sell yourself. She stood up and pointed at Ling Ju fiercely. Is it very expensive? How about this? Ling Ju raised her hand and flipped the entire set to the ground. Everyone was stunned. They did not think that this kid would actually dare to. Was he really young? Ling Jinxing looked at him furiously and reached out to pull him. Kneel down. What was wrong with this child? How could he be so rude in front of his father? Kneel down? What a joke. Ling Ju stood up and shook off his hand. She walked to the side. They said that I'm an illegitimate child. Do you think I'm grateful? I'm not some coward. Xiao Ju, why are you talking like that? You're making me sad. Mu Shuling looked at him with tears in her eyes, her face full of disappointment. I've always treated you as my own son. Dad just doesn't understand the whole story. My own son? I'm sorry, but I've never treated you as my mother. Ling Ju sneered. How dare you? Mu Ganquan looked at Ling Ju angrily. You brat, didn't your mother teach you how to behave? Didn't your mother teach you not to say things you shouldn't say in front of the child? Ling Ju stepped on the pile of debris and destroyed his beloved teapot. She looked at him disdainfully. Ling Jinxing, if you don't send this child away, I'll ask Ling Er to divorce you. The crutch in Mu Ganquan's hand almost shattered the floor. His old face was red with anger. Divorce. If I leave him, I can be with my mother. Ling Ying and the others will be illegitimate children from now on. Mu Ganquan quickly calmed himself down. Ling Ju was very pleased. These people were talking back to her. She could make them all die of anger. Grandfather, don't be angry. Ling Ju is going to die from illness. Ling Ying quickly poured him a cup of water. Lord Ju, watch me. I'm going to anger this old man to death. Tang Yuan hopped over and squatted on Ling Ying's hand. When she handed the glass over, it bit her. It was as painful as a bite from a blood-sucking mosquito. She let out a cry of pain and let go of the glass. She happened to pass it to the old man's chest. This time, the glass of water smashed into his chest. Mu Gankoin cried out in pain. The glass fell from a high place and almost choked him. The glass of water splashed on his body. His clothes and pants were all wet. Clang! The glass fell to the ground and shattered into pieces, lying in front of him. Lord Ju, praise me, praise me. Tang Yuan leaned on her shoulder and rubbed against her neck happily. Lord Ju, Lord Tang Yuan won't let anyone bully you. This old man is also sick and about to die. Let's leave him alone. Ling Ju reached out to touch it, the corners of her mouth curling up slightly. Xiaoying, what are you doing? The two brothers looked at her in shock. Why did the glass of water hit Grandpa? I don't know. I just felt a pain in my hand, that's all. Grandfather. I didn't mean it, sob. Ling Ying tried to explain. Her hand really hurt just now. It came so fast that she was caught off guard. She could only put down the glass. Dad, are you okay? Mu Shuling walked over quickly. When she passed Ling Ju, her eyes were vicious. Lord Ju, she's staring at you. Tang Yuan reminded her kindly. Okay. Ling Ju's eyes flashed. She kicked a piece of debris to her feet with 100% accuracy. Plop. Lord Ju, she's staring at you, reminded Tang Yuan kindly. Okay. Ling Ju's eyes flashed. She kicked a piece of debris to her feet with 100% accuracy. Mu Shuling stepped on it, the marble floor and a slippery piece of debris. With a plop, she knelt in front of her father. Due to inertia, she quickly used her hand to support her body. Her palm instantly pressed against the glass shards in front of him. It happened so fast that everyone was dumbfounded when it happened. Ling Ju quickly took 2 steps back and shook her head as she looked at her. It was too tragic. Ling Jinxing quickly walked up to her. The old man's chest hurt so much that he almost passed out. Mu Shuling endured the pain, but when she raised her palm and saw the glass shard still stuck in her hand, she immediately cried, "It hurts." Her tears flowed down immediately. She leaned against Ling Jinxing's chest and sobbed softly. Mom, are you okay? Ling Ying almost cried. Ling Sheng and Ling Xiao quickly surrounded her and looked at Mu Shuling with concern. Lord Ju, have fun. Ha ha ha. Tang Yuan hopped around. It was so much fun. The marble floor had been dyed red, and Mu Shuling was still sitting on the ground. Her exquisite makeup had been stained by her tears. Quick, call Lian Shi over. Songshi hurriedly shouted at the housekeeper. She looked at her daughter with heartache. Yes. The housekeeper ran out immediately. Ling Ju stood at the side, watching the family panic. Didn't they call her over to seek justice for his daughter? Didn't they just want to chase her away? And now, it could be said to be very interesting. Hee. Ling Ju, it's all your fault. Ling Ying looked at him angrily. She picked up a cup and threw it at him, cursing angrily. Go to hell. You jinx. You be *starred. Ling Ju flashed past, dodging her attack. The cup that Ling Ying threw landed on the hanging television. With a bang, the television screen shattered. Ling Sheng yelled angrily and glared at her. Why was she so impulsive? Did she think that she could hit Ling Ju? That kid was very powerful now. He could dislocate his jaw with one hand. Woo. Ling Ying burst into tears. A little girl in middle school had harmed her grandfather. Now, her mother's wound had become like this because she broke the cup. Woo. Why was it like this? Sob. Lord Ju, this little girl is going to die soon. Ha. She drank the soup, which Mu Shuling increased the dosage of the medicine. She will vomit blood in 2 days. It's fun. Tang Yuan laughed like a little devil. The more unlucky the family was, the luckier Lord Ju was. Ling Jinxing looked at Ling Ju in disappointment. He also felt that this was Ling Ju's fault. If he had not broken the tea set, Shuling would not have fallen. No one saw Ling Ju kick the piece. They all thought that he broke the tea set, which was why Mu Shuling accidentally stepped on it and fell. Why isn't Lian Shi here yet? Songshi muttered, looking at her daughter nervously. She had heard about it when she came. Ling Ju broke the vase at home, and her daughter cut her hand when she went to clean it up. She still hadn't recovered yet. Now, because of this kid, she fell and cut her old wound even deeper. Blood kept flowing, and Mu Shuling lay in Ling Jinxing's arms, crying. The old man smoothed his chest for a long time. After all, he was an experienced man. He steadied his mind and stood up to change after a long time. When he passed Ling Ju, his eyes were filled with even more murderous intent than before. Have a safe journey. Don't fall. You're getting old. Be careful of your health. Ling Ju reminded him kindly as she looked at him with a smile. Mu Gankuan sneered and walked upstairs. Ling Ju looked at the messy people in the living room and turned around to walk out. The air here was murky. Just as she reached the door, she was knocked into by a person who suddenly rushed in. The person was worried that he would fall, so he reached out to hold his waist as if he was holding him in his arms. Ling Ju frowned and quickly left his arms. Sorry, it's urgent. He glanced at Ling Ju and was surprised when he saw his exquisite appearance. However, he stopped caring about him for a moment and quickly ran into the living room with the medical kit. Ling Ju did not think much of it and walked out of the living room. When she reached the corridor, she saw the housekeeper running toward her while panting. He held his left abdomen with a pained look on his face. He was surprised when he saw Ling Ju. Young Master Ling Ju, where are you going? I'm just taking a walk. I'll find someone to accompany you. No need. Ling Ju rejected him coldly and disappeared down the winding corridor. The housekeeper gulped. This kid was really scary. Was it because he was young or because he was so gloomy? He looked like a rebellious teenager when he was in the living room just now. However, it did not seem like that was the case now. He calmed himself down, turned around, and walked into the living room. Ling Ju strolled around the garden. The house was very big. If she was not careful, she could easily get lost. Lord Ju, there's a treasure inside. Tang Yuan laid lazily on her shoulder, opened its blue eyes, and looked around. Ling Ju glanced around. A treasure? The underground here is a dragon vein. You mean? Ling Ju was slightly surprised. She had heard her father mention the dragon vein before. If Miaojiang wanted to be established permanently, it had to be built on the dragon bloodline. Many Gu worms had spirituality. In the land of the dragon bloodline, they could achieve twice the result with half the effort. There's a dragon bloodline under his house, so his luck will be especially good. You remember, right? The first elder is a feng shui master. He knows a lot. The direction of this house and everything else is built by someone who specializes in it. If nothing goes wrong, this family will definitely be filled with talents. The corner of Ling Ju's lips curled up. She might not have believed in feng shui in the past, but after experiencing so many things, she was quite interested in feng shui. However, Tang Yuan's eyes suddenly became curious. The only thing that's not right here is the dragon's tail. The dragon's tail? Yes, the dragon's head should be over there. Tang Yuan looked at the small forest across the lake and said excitedly, Lord Ju, there are treasures over there too. Do you want to go take a look? Tang Yuan is so comfortable. Ling Ju looked over and saw a house that was faintly discernible over there. She lifted her leg and walked out. Since Tang Yuan was interested, she would go take a look. Lord Ju, this dragon vein is closely related to this lake. Therefore, the dragon tail is on this side of the lake, and the dragon head is on that side. The whole body is circling around the lake. Yeah, I'm just curious about the treasures. Lord Ju, the place where the dragon head is so mysterious. It seems like there's something very powerful there. Tang Yuan frowned and glanced in the direction of the dragon head. Let's not go over there. I think someone is coming. Ling Ju stopped on the bridge and looked at the car that was slowly approaching. It was a luxurious black Rolls-Royce Phantom 8. Lord Ju, I saw it. Tang Yuan was about to say something, but Ling Ju interrupted him and looked at the car coldly. The car drove past her, and she saw the man sitting in the driver's seat. The man did not seem to see her. He sped past quickly, leaving a cloud of dust behind. Lord Ju, I can't stand it. Tang Yuan looked at the car speeding past and was so angry that its small body turned red. I definitely can't stand it. Ling Ju sneered. She did not plan to go over, but now she wanted to take a look. Lord Ju, are you guys going to fight again? Tang Yuan rubbed its fists and looked over there. Its claws had grown out, but they were very short, as if they were not there. I'm not going to fight. Ling Ju lifted her leg and walked towards the house over there. Is he hitting you? That handsome young man doesn't seem to be easy to deal with. Tang Yuan shook its fur. Why would the handsome young man deliberately throw dust at Lord Ju? TSK, he was really courting death. Kill him. Ling Ju gritted her teeth when she thought of Feng Yuan. Lord Ju, the car he drives is new. Tang Yuan looked at the car parked not far away with envy. It seems like you need a lot of money to buy it. You can't afford it now anyway, Lord Ju. Besides, you can't buy it even if you have the money. He saw this car on the computer yesterday. It was a piece of news. It was called Phantom 8, and only 2 of them were produced in the world. At that time, he thought that if Lord Ju drove this car for a ride, it would definitely look cool. Ha ha. Ling Ju looked at the car with a dim gaze. It looked nice, but she looked at her surroundings and took out a small knife from her trouser pocket. Because of the time when Feng Yuan took out a dagger to stab her, she would keep a small knife in her pocket now just to have the chance to stab it back. For now, she would use this car to drive a knife. Lord Ju, what are you doing? Tang Yuan looked at her nervously and then looked at the surrounding noises. Lord Ju would not want to puncture the tires, would she? It swallowed its saliva. What should it do? It seemed very exciting. Tang Yuan, you're not thinking too much. Ling Ju walked over and touched the car. It was indeed quite new. You shouldn't have followed such a master and made me eat dust. She squatted down after saying that and punctured the rear wheel in less than 3 seconds. She was not an ordinary girl. The car must have just been delivered and had not been modified yet. Therefore, she immediately pierced the car with her strength. Lord Ju, your knife may have cost you a few million. Tang Yuan looked at Ling Ju with a twitching face. The tires were shockingly expensive. Of course, they still could not withstand a knife from her Lord Ju. Then, I'll poke a few million more. Ling Ju quickly punctured a few tires. Although it was a little strenuous, she was in a good mood after she was done. Lord Ju, let's run away quickly. Let's go. We'll look for the treasure another day. Ling Ju walked back in a good mood. She did not notice that in the villa not far away, someone had taken a picture of the scene from the windowsill. Feng Yuan looked at the picture in the camera and the corner of his mouth curled up. Little thing, I'm not going to compensate you this time. Ling Ju was in a good mood. She did not plan to go back to the Mu family in the first place. As soon as she walked to the bridge, she saw the butler looking for something on the bridge. When he saw him, he immediately ran over. Young Master Ling Ju, where did you go? The governor asked me to come out to look for you. The people here are either rich or noble. Please don't run around. Oh, Ling Ju smiled sarcastically. I saw you coming from that side. He pointed to the side where Ling Ju had poked the tire. He was dumbfounded. This young master could not have gone to do something bad, right? He could not afford to offend the people there. I think he's hiding a lot more than he lets on. Ling Ju rubbed her chin thoughtfully. Her instincts were screaming that the man was dangerous. Dangerous in a way that made the air feel heavier when he was near. She wasn't afraid of him, of course. But if he chose to become an obstacle, it would get messy. Worse still, she hadn't provoked him. Yet it felt like he had a personal vendetta against her and was actively tracking her down. No doubt about it, Lord Ju, Tang Yuan chirped. You think he's a demon or something? Because I. It paused mid-sentence. A lump suddenly stuck in its throat. What was that for? Ling Ju gave it a deadpan look. Why didn't you say it was a celestial being descended from the heavens? Well, it's possible, but not likely. Tang Yuan backtracked immediately, watching her rub her palms together with sinister intent. Nowadays, telling the truth felt like walking on a tightrope with this woman. Maybe he's like us, reborn. Or maybe he has some kind of ancient artifact hidden on him. No way, Tang Yuan replied quickly. Lord Ju, don't you remember your 15th year? The fever, the near-death state. Her tone dropped slightly. That was because I, had to absorb your essence to survive. Totally an accident. Huh. Ling Ju's expression darkened. She remembered how close to death she had felt. Her fingers curled around the little creature as she lifted it into her palm. So I almost died because of you? Wait. Did I say that? I didn't mean that. Did I? Tang Yuan flailed desperately in her grip. You're not going to cut me open, right? Oh heavens, what even is in my stomach? Maybe tofu dregs? Peanut skins. Let me check. Ling Ju narrowed her eyes dangerously. You might be hoarding snacks in there. No, Lord Ju, mercy. I was young and thought you smelled delicious. I didn't know. I swear. Look, the great elder saved you, right? If it wasn't for Miaojiang's rituals, you'd be dead. That proves it. Nothing is stronger than me. Tang Yuan the Great. Ling Ju sighed and finally let go, more amused than angry. Tang Yuan's fast-talking had saved its fur again. Come on, we're here. They had taken a taxi this time, causing a small scene in the back seat along the way. When Ling Ju saw the familiar neon sign up ahead, she knew they'd arrived. After paying the fare, she stepped out and walked into the busy street, vibrant as ever. But her pace slowed. Last time she came here, she'd run into Feng Yuan, and then again at the casino. A strange unease crawled up her spine. Something tells me that man's not done haunting me. She didn't understand it. She'd save his life, and in return, he looked at her like she was his worst enemy. So much for gratitude. Lord Ju, did you know that handsome guy from last time is only 22? Tang Yuan chimed cheerfully. Oh, her voice was flat. And he's super tall. And you think he's handsome too, don't you? But honestly, Lord Ju, compared to you, all I know is that your fur is about to be gone. Ling Ju snapped, grabbing him by the scruff. That guy's annoying. Don't bring him up again, or I'll pluck you bald. Wah, Lord Ju. Tang Yuan burst into exaggerated tears. It's always hot water this, pluck that. I'm just stating facts. With a sigh, Ling Ju shoved the sobbing fur ball into her pocket and strode toward the entrance of the stone gambling den. Let the little troublemaker sulk in there. She had money to make and no time for melodrama.